Okay. In this part of the run, we're now building what's called rocket side, okay? On rocket side, we need iron, copper, iron. All right, so once again, I always find it best to do a review of the map conditions before starting to stamp everything down and connect stuff. So if we quickly research the map, we can see that this is beltable. This or this are going to be trained for copper, and this is going to be trained for iron. So the last iron is belt friendly. These two are going to be trained. So we are going to use a train here and a train here. Get the bots starting to build those. We have the bots dinging, so we can check the map again and see that almost everything is built. A couple labs here is not the end of the world. And when we start looking at the list now, we're going to start seeing centrifuges, which is okay. They do not need to be built. They will get built when you correctly stamp to the point you can make them. So let's stamp in our power. Let's stamp in our 5-1. There's some new indicators that I start looking at this point. So I always go to the fringe of the base. So with 5-1, you've got that weird loopy rail in the top right. Find that's the easiest thing to align. I always align with the rails. And the one on the right is just a little harder to see now, but that loopy one at the top is a little easier. That's what I use. Done. 4 down. So again, we've done this a couple times already. I'm just making a totally standard outpost for iron. It's gonna be belted. Okay. Something that has to happen around this time is uranium. I think I'm going to cover uranium right now. I think a normal run, you want to get all this rocket stuff set up, and you also need uranium. You need them both. I'm going to do uranium right now. If you have uranium conveniently available, do uranium around now. Okay, so let's go over uranium. There are 2 places, technically you can connect uranium all around the base. Lots of options. And you'll see Nephrons and Anti do that, and probably the Doe. I like to keep it a little more refined so that I don't break something or have the trains interact with each other. I connect my uranium from this spot right here. There's a little extra nub sticking out here, which I use for uranium. Or the train sits right here, and I connect it right here. I only ever connect it to one of these 2 places. Ever. Hopefully, on your run, uranium is similar to this map, where it's freely available on this side of the map quite comfortably. So let's go connect uranium up and to the left. Uranium has to be built by the base bots. There's no train outpost that is going to go out there and do it. So you do want it to be reasonably close. Let's call it reasonably close to the base. Nice. Whoops. So beginner-friendly blueprint. There's a uranium miners print right here, and we're going to stamp that onto the uranium. Make sure the roboports touch the base. Good. Bots are dinging, so I'm going to stamp the next part of the prints. Again, bots ding, prints are done, keep stamping. There's not a lot of magic to go over here. Just make sure you check what's done and everything is reasonably done. Yeah, okay, so the safest thing when building literally any rail for this run... Oh, shoot, I ran out of rail. Okay, I'm going to have the bots build this, which is shitty, but whatever. I'll go get rail right now. So again, this uranium train, I told you there's 2 viable connections. And one of them is right here. Like that. The other one would be this tip right here. So looking at the base, the uranium train sits right here. It can go that way. Or it could come out this way. So we could have built this uranium and had it connect here as well. I will now start this train. All right, so this will be a good example to see what a patch looks like when you're trying desperately to not mixed mine. So let's set this up like this. Okay. Oops. So again, trying to be very careful not to mine that stone, but to also make sure that enough miners are on this in general. I believe if you recall, the number is 200. We want 200 miners. Okay. Let's remove the mixed ones. Gone. 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 I see the prod alarm. I'll get to that in a second. So by removing those miners, let's see what our count is at. 202. All right, let's keep going. I'll get to that alarm in a second. There is an alarm going off that I will have to highlight a little bit, but just want to finish this outpost and get the rocket moving. Okay. Train's on the way here now, or can come here. We're going to get power. Again, if you want to be fast, use a train or a car. Okay. Didn't hear what you said before. No planning. That's not trains, just bad planning on your initial turn. Okay. We now have all of this set up. These trains are ready to start, and because that outpost is building and the train has left, we can start them. We are not going to start these trains because this is not built, and we do not want that to happen until after the train. There, it just dinged. So once this train comes out to this outpost and then goes back home, then and only then will I stamp these trains in. We are now ready to stamp 6-1. So we'll put that into existence. All of our rocket side is done. You can see that there's an alarm going off right now called Speed Module 2 Buffer. So from here on out for the rest of the run, there's going to be some alarms go off for modules. I have them right down here. There's 2 different upgrade planners. There's one that does prod 3s and speed 2s, and one that does speed 3s. Right now, it's requesting speed 2s. The whole point here is that we are going to be upgrading stuff around this science build. Every time this comes up, we're going to come over to this science build here to upgrade stuff. When it is asking for speed 2s, the first thing we want to give speed 2s to is this central beacon line right here. Now that that beacon line is upgraded, the alarm will go away because those speed 2s are going to be removed from the buffer. And so because the buffer will shrink, the alarm will disappear. Once the alarm has disappeared, we can ignore that until the alarm comes back again. Okay, so once again, the Speed Module 2 alarm is going off. Click it, zoom into the science area, grab your Speed Module 2 book. After you've done the center line of beacons, you can do this line of beacons between yellow and labs, this line between purple and yellow, and this line between purple and blue chips. Good. Done. Bots are dinging. Now, I wanted to recap what we had done. There, we're back now. On the rocket side, so first we did backside, then we did what's called rocket side. This entire side of the base is designed to launch a rocket. We have done an iron lane, a copper lane, another iron lane, and we've connected uranium. Everything is getting processed here now so that we can get a silo up and launch a rocket. So speaking of which, let's research the silo. Let's do that now. Okay, the green chip side. This is probably one of the more complex sides of the base. Okay, so you can read the belts again. So if you don't know what's on them, just read the belts. But basically the order of this goes copper, copper, iron, 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 stone. So again, if you start from the backside turn, that's copper, copper, iron, 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 stone. Again, we can do some planning. So if I look at the map, I can see that my copper is all going to be trained without question. At least one iron is going to be belted. Maybe I could belt this one too. Or at the very least, build it with the base bots. So yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll train it, we'll build it with the base bots so you can see that. So, starting from the copper side, which we know is going to be trained, we'll set up 2 trains. So, let's set up our copper. Let's go this way for this one. Bots are dinging. Let's make them shut up finally. Sorry about the delay. Nuclear power. Bonk. 6-2. Bonk. I don't think I need to review stamping the base. Like, you get a power print. So at this point for power, because I don't want to zoom in and create as much lag, you can use the radar on the roboport, or from a far away spot, you can see along the right-hand rim of the power, there's little blocks that stick out, which are the roboports. I just use those little blocks and line them up. Simple as that. Make sense? So you should too. So this is super annoying. Just go past it, connect to the next one. And train dings, bring power on the way back. Okay. That screaming at you sound is the power that is screaming for power 2. In a normally paced run, that is going to happen later. but it's happening right now. So we're going to take our initial power blueprint that we originally got out way long ago. That is at landfills phase right now. And we're going to scroll it to nuclear 2. And we're going to stamp this in. Oh, and our silo is done. As soon as the silo is done, you should stamp. As soon as the silo is done, you should stamp. Let's get copper. There. There. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should do something about that to not have 15 stamps go out at once. Because I think we've just made way more reactors than expected. You need to be very careful not to pace power too soon because landfill. Yeah, exactly. That too. Okay. I am going to delete the alarm. I'm not necessarily recommending you guys do that. I just want it to be quiet. The power's fine. Like, we have enough power. Okay, we've got our 2 coppers set up. Now we've got an interesting problem for iron. This is a good example to go over offset trains. This iron patch we absolutely want to use. It's excellent. It's beltable. I would not want to skip this iron patch because I thought to myself, I have to build these 2 trains exactly here. Now I can't build this. That sucks. I'm going to build this. Nothing is going to stop me. So let's build this first and get it in place. Oh, by the way, I can hear maracas going off. So the sound of maracas that you hear right now, you can see is a get fish. So our rocket is ready to launch, but it needs fish. So again, you can get the fish a little sooner than this, but I like to wait for the alarm. If you're new, just wait for the alarm. You hear the little maracas? Go get some fish, okay? So just go to the lake, decon a fish. What happens is this box right here is set up to receive fish, and as long as you have not deconned a fish already, it will end up in this box. There is logic that happens here where the silo will not launch until it receives that fish, and it will not start loading until it receives all 4 prod modules. So you'll notice there's other alarms going on here. So there's several. You can see get fish just disappeared, prod mods, start trains, and prod mods. So now that the prods are ready to be upgraded because we have the alarm telling us so, we're going to go into our science area here, grab this same blueprint that does prods, and now we're going to focus on the assemblers instead of the beacons. So I want us to highlight all of the yellow and purple here. So it should be 4 yellow and 3 purple. In addition, if you don't want to highlight all of it because you're afraid you're going to do something you shouldn't, just do 1 at a time. But you're trying to do these 4 yellow and these 3 purple. After that, immediately go over to the nuclear fuel and do that as well. So in total, we've done our 7 science assemblers, 4 yellow, 3 purple. Flip over to nuclear and do the nuclear as well. Okay, so now we have a conundrum because oh, sorry, I shouldn't delete these rails like randomly like that. It's probably confusing for people why I'm doing that. So we have a conundrum here that this needs a train, but our train does not fit, okay? That is a problem. So I would just put it off a little bit. So let's just say right here. This seems perfectly fine. Somewhere like this, which is why I'm deleting this rail because it's in my way. As long as you don't delete any of the straight rail, you're fine. So let's just put it right here. Again, no entities are covered. If I put it here, an entity's covered. See that little signal on the right-hand side? It's like right around there. Make sure that signal is not covered. It has to be built. So let's just put this right around here. Now, when you build an offset rail, there's a few things to be careful about. First, let's make sure that this roboport connects to the base. And then anytime you build these, there's a clean power drag straight up. Like that. I know this looks like an absolute mess and it's scary. Just straight up, it will drag the power for you. But if you want to let the bots do it, that's fine too. Then just make sure that this power gets out so that this roboport is powered. Perfect. With that roboport powered, we know that this will all get built and the returning robots will have a place to go. The next thing that we need is for a build train to be able to come out this way. Because if we send this train out here, or out here, or out here, it may need to be built by the outpost train. If it needs to be built by the outpost train, and only if it needs to be built by the outpost train, you must connect this rail into the base. The easiest way to do this is whatever way the base wants. So, not like that. Just make sure you get a, there, simple connection. So let's just say it's not working for you. Like, it's giving you an X. Just put your mouse on the rail and keep hitting R. Okay, so that's obviously bad. R, 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 R. Perfect. What R is doing is, so I can just showcase this out here. Right now, the rail is trying to access the slot my mouse is on from left to right. If I hit R, it's now up, like, diagonally that way. Hit R again, it's straight up. Next, it's gonna do that direction, and then it's gonna do that direction. It's just rotating around like a clock, deciding the manner in which the rail has to hit the slot my mouse is on. Super simple, right? So the same logic applies here. I want the rail to reach the spot my mouse is on. I hold shift to build it by the bots. And hypothetically, if it had an X or was doing weird stuff like this, just keep hitting R until it's the orientation you want, left to right, and then put it in the easiest way you possibly can. Done. Now we've got a connected roboport. We have an outpost train that can get out of the base. The last thing that is required is that this train needs solid fuel, which this needs light oil. So this pipe is going to have to connect into this pipe network. There's many ways to do this. If you have a long connection like this, great. Just tap into that. If not, just manually make this work. So one way to do this would be to break this and turn it into that so that it can be built down here like this. That's perfectly fine. If you did not want to do that, you could also build it out to this one. Whatever works. Okay? So, fuel has to reach this for trains to get fuel. Roboport's connected. Train is connected. The last thing you need to do is that these belts need to connect to here. So now you've got like a little mini belt run. Just like every other belt run you've done. Perfect. You now have a shifted station that is done. Explaining that took a long time, but building it once you get practice takes 2 seconds. It is done immediately, and by being able to do that super quickly, you could have some maps that are otherwise super annoying to play that are suddenly much more playable. All right, now there's a judgment call to be made here about how this outpost gets built. This is a little close to the base, and it can probably be built by the base bots. So let's back up a little bit. And let's just say we showed up here and stamped this. Now, this being built by the base bots is quite reasonable, but the train run still makes sense because belting it across all this stuff is tedious and annoying. If this is going to be built by base bots, this is something we have not covered yet. Anytime one of these outpost stations you're going to build with the base bots instead of the outpost train, make sure you delete this one train station, delete it, and delete this set of boxes and blue arms. Delete. Everything else stays exactly the same. Literally, you only delete those 10 entities. That is 6 blue arms, 3 boxes, and a train station. Then connect it with roboports to the base, and now your base bots will build this for you, and your outpost train will not come out here. Done. Simple as that. We've got all these intersections we have to fix. So make sure you put signals in all your intersections. We spent a lot of time explaining this. This is only for the outpost train. If this is not here, this is fine because the only reason that that rail exists is so that the outpost train can come and build it. But if you're building it with the base bots, that's not needed. That's a very good point. All right, let's build this. Oh my God, we launched a rocket. I almost tried to split there. Okay, as soon as the rocket launches, go to your blueprint book and stamp in 7. Probably that's gonna be fine. Your base is probably gonna be done at that point. Right here, here. This one we are gonna have the train come and do. Okay, So the does bring up a good point. I just said something wrong. Do not stamp 7 until you're done all of these outposts. So this last outpost train visit is happening right now. Perfect. Now that the last outpost is being built and power armor is researched, which it is, we can stamp in 7. So stamp in 7 now that your rocket is launched, your outposts are done, and power armor is researched. All right, the last thing that this needs is stone. Stage 7 builds the train stop mall. So is this like broken? It like won't return home now? Wait, why can't this go this way? Print 7 adds some signals. Oh. There it goes. I did not know that. Okay. Train goes home, then stamp 7. I am a professional. Okay, prod 3s, again, this alarm going off. So prod 3 alarm going off. Let's get our science book. Yeah. We've already reviewed this. We've upgraded all of the assemblers here. We've upgraded the fuel assembler over here. The next priority is the inner labs. So the ones closer to yellow science. So prod 3, these. And start the green chip train. So again, there's going to be alarms for almost everything at this point in the run. Start the green chip train is one of the alarms, and paste blueprint 8 is one of the alarms. So go into the green chip train right here. This is this big long train sitting here, and start it. And then if the base is telling you to paste blueprint 8, you can paste blueprint 8. Put that in as well. Only if the alarm tells you to. There's still something I have not done on this side. I haven't done stone. Let's go do stone. 2 stone. Yeah, it fits perfectly. Good. So again, all your stone connections for the entire run are going to be 2 stone. So you're always going to have to belt these. There is no train for stone. I think Nephrons is working on a stone train, but if stone is far away, get belting, because it's going to be belted no matter what you do. This way in, this way in. Your last trains are no pathing. Yeah, sorry. It's perfectly reasonable that stuff is not going great in the tutorial, because this is going to happen in real runs. You'll have trains that no path and you don't know why. The easiest way to fix a no pathing train is to go to these boxes right here. And if this is already built, you can, a couple things. You can empty the boxes, but leave the iron plate. So let's just empty the boxes, leave the plate. That, in theory, will start the trains. If you don't want to do it like that, you can also delete this train stop and delete all of these boxes and arms. Done. Okay, let's recap. We have a complete base. We have every single connection done. So this is the green chip side. The purpose of this side of the base is to fill up this train so that you can make outposts. That is all this side of the base is meant to do. Copper, copper, iron, 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 stone. Done.